Okay, we are officially live on everything. What's going on, guys? And welcome to another episode of Office Hours. I am Nyla Simone, and today we're going to be talking about music publishing and rights management with J Rich ENT. J Rich, how are you?
I'm doing well. I'm doing well. Excited to be here. Excited to be here.
Yes, I'm excited to speak with you because you have a very deep resume. Um, I'm definitely gonna keep it on music and publishing, but I feel like we should kind of touch on everything that you've done too, just so we can talk about how you got to this point. Um, so yeah, I know you're the co-founder of TrackIt Services, which is a platform that streamlines logistics and operations, and also the CEO of Easytract. First of all, how are you managing so many things?
Just passion, being passion led to fix certain problems that I see, and yeah, just being focused.
So, what drove you to create um, the TrackIt service?
Okay, well, Tractor Services serves as a factoring platform. As being an audio engineer, working with labels, it was very hard to not only like figure out what I should pay, but when I start charging, it's still very confusing on what do you need to be signed up for to get paid. A lot of these labels have net 30s, net 45, net 90s. And when you're traveling, using your own money to spend and work with these artists, and you're not knowing these things and you're finding it out later, it could put you in a very bad position. So, my partner Andrew Foa, I was working on something similar, and he was already killing it with tracking services, like led with passion. He hated how like engineers would be in certain situations and wouldn't be getting paid, and kind of like still kind of like not too far. Like we're pretty bottom on the totem pole sometimes, you know. So we he came up with this idea, and I kind of put my heart into it. And what happens is not only do we handle the back and forth communication, but we now have a platform now that makes it very easy for you to log in your invoice, and we're able to make sure that we go back and forth with the label to not only assure a good rate for you, but once they approve your sessions, we make sure that we send you the money immediately. And we take on the hassle of net 30s, net 45s, net 90s, so you can get your money now. And that's very important to us. We charge a small fee up front, but that was how that got created, and why I'm also passionate for it.
Yeah, that's amazing because I'm definitely tired of the net 30s, 60s, and 90s. Um, but when you is it a platform that you have to pay for monthly, or
No,
is
no, no. We actually just take about 5 to 10% off each invoice, and actually, depending on how many invoices you send, we can set you up with health insurance, so you can get a monthly health stipend, so you can start paying your health insurance. Yeah, that was something I thought about and talked to Andrew about, and we made sure that we had it because so many engineers are just on the road with no health care, and we've had it all. We've had engineers be in a session and it got shot up, or they're just not eating properly, and they need help. You know, it's funny, but yeah, it's crazy. Different things that happen, and engineers need care too. And in normal jobs, these things come in there, like you have health insurance, and so that's something that I'm very proud of that we've been able to help a lot of our people with. And I think so far we've collected about a couple million in invoices, so we're doing pretty well.
so cool. I love that. Now I know you say engineers are at the bottom of the totem pole, but do you feel like this is a software that producers could use as well?
We help producers with producer advances as well. So when
Okay.
producers finish up and get a placement, they can use us, and we'll make sure they get advanced their money, and we'll collect on the back end as well.
Okay. Lovely. Now, okay, let's talk about Easy Track. I
Okay,
know that's more tech and that's on the publishing side, correct?
correct, correct. Easytrack is a company I've been working on for a few years, and I've been able to really completely dive into it because I became an immutable founder in this immutable founders incubator with the Atlanta Blockchain Center and Starter Labs. So I've been able to really like dive into it, and just think of like a pre-release compliance platform that walks people through what you need to be signed up for before you release a record.
Okay. And what are some of those things like
Well,
distro, BMI?
well, DistroKid is like that's the problem. DistroKid and TuneCore is distribution companies, and the problem is a lot of times you can distribute a song without properly crediting who needs to be credited, how the song needs to be split up, and it can make it very confusing. That's why later on you get songs taken down, or there's sometimes where songs don't get paid out because people can't agree to certain splits, and that's
Mm.
harder to do once a song becomes a hit. So this is why I'm focused on Easytract to make sure that people can handle what matters first, then we can release a record, and then we can start collecting on it. Because one of the worst things that's going on with this industry is the black box, and it used to be 7 years, but after 3 years, if you don't collect your royalties, it goes into a black box and you can't collect them anymore.
What?
And after those 3 years, it goes to this black box. You can't collect them anymore. And then that gets redistributed to the people who own the top 10 market share of the music industry. So that means, yeah, it's kind of crazy. Like, yeah, it's kind of crazy. So that means you're an independent artist, you're trying to make it, and you're releasing these records on TuneCore. You think you're doing your thing, but you're not registered properly. And now Drake is getting paid, or Atlantic is getting paid, or not Drake specifically, but
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know,
yeah.
labels own, or whoever owns, because you can do all your research about the payouts of the black box. You can do all your research about who's getting paid. It's no specifics. It's all like, so
That's
that's
nasty.
yeah, and especially when you look at the stats, it's 100,000 songs getting distributed globally every day. 80% of those songs get distributed by independent artists, and 80% of independent artists don't register their songs. So that
Mm.
means every year there's billions of dollars that's not getting collected annually because people aren't registering their song properly. So if you don't register your song properly, that makes it hard for you to get paid internationally. It makes it hard for you to get paid through licensing. It makes you hard to get paid through a lot of different things. You'd be surprised.
So, how did you learn about licensing?
To be honest, I just dove into it. I wrote a record that did pretty well. I didn't realize I was going to do well. It was small time record, but it did pretty well. And then I was just very forward about getting my money. Every time I got into the industry or did something or found out I had a little money here or there, I didn't wait. I didn't wait to sign. I just made sure I was really aggressive on making sure I knew how to get paid. So that's why. And then when I would notice these gaps, it motivated me to start building Easytrack. I started building it a couple years ago, and I started as a split sheet, just giving away free split sheets. And
Mm.
I gave away thousands of free split sheets through the platform, but nobody filled them out because nobody knew how to fill them out.
Mm.
And that's what prompted me to like even dive in further with Easytrack to make it easier and kind of prompt people like, okay, let's make this stop at this PRO. And the government and people are the music industry is only about 100 years old. It's like it's pretty much it's trouble because when it was made, all these rules were made. The internet wasn't around, so now that the internet is around, it's making it a lot harder. But they're making different changes, like the MMA that helped, the MLC being created by Congress in 2021 helped enormous a lot. So the key is just making sure that you do your own research, but this is why I'm creating Easytrack.
Yeah. Well, thank you for coming on here and sharing this because I really had no idea about that. The black box situation in particular. But I know a lot of indie artists start seeing buzz before they actually understand publishing and what that even is. What is the first thing you would suggest they start doing once they get their buzz?
Well, like I said, is before you get your buzz and you want to sign this away, just do your research and make sure that you're collecting all your money. It's
Mm.
all the money. If when you're an independent artist, all money is in. All money is in. So that means you need money from your distribution. You need to make sure you're collecting on your publishing. You need to make sure that, I would advise people to know what that ISRC code is. knowing what that code is and double checking to make sure your name is entered in properly, because so much money is missed by just name misspellings or just one number off on the ISRC. So just making sure that you're collecting all your money first, even with merch, taking advantage of drop shipping for your merch, just to really get a glimpse of how much you're worth first before you sign any deal.
That's real. So, for those who aren't familiar, can you break down in simple terms what exactly music publishing actually is and what rights an artist actually owns?
Yes, think of it like you got your streaming, you got your streaming money. When
Mhm.
someone plays your song on Spotify, when you're listening it on Apple, you get streaming money, right? Then you have performance money when your song plays in public. You know, every time your song plays at Starbucks, every time your song is on the radio, you know, every time uh, yeah, it's in this venue, you get performance money. And then the last I would say is licensing money. That's TVs, commercials, movies. And I think that's a great way to kind of like putting the three different ways you get paid in music.
Okay. And so, if you have a song that's streaming well, or maybe you're on a feature, how can artists ensure that they're collecting all of their royalties?
Well, number one is making sure that you're being proactive with communication and your split sheet and filling these things out. You know, but of course, the answer to that is going to be Easytract in the future. Right now, actually, um, that's that's going to be the answer. Stay on track with Easytract. We're gonna help you get this done. But if you have a song that's streaming that's doing well, just make sure that you copyrighted it. You know, just in case, because if it's not copyrighted, if someone wanted to put it in like a movie or a commercial, they don't know who owns the mechanical license because you didn't copyright it. So make sure you copyright your music. Um, what else would I want? Make sure that you signed up with a PRO, either ASCAP, BMI, or CSAT, and I would make sure that you signed up with the MLC. A lot of people think it's kind of hard to self-administer your own publishing, and that is a lie. It's very easy, especially with the creation of the MLC. Um, I think that you just have to make sure that you sign up a publisher account with your PRO, and then you can route them to collect for the MLC. And the difference between the MLC and signing up with the publisher are two things. The MLC pays out monthly, and if you're an independent artist, that could be very important, right? So you want to make sure that you're collecting this money monthly so you can put it back in your music, right? And the second thing is a lot of these publishing administrators are just signed up to another publisher which is already taking out percentage. So imagine someone has a deal with someone that's already taking 20% out of 100, and then you sign to them for 20%, right? That's
Right.
already 40% being taken out that you don't know about, right? So do your homework, try to collect all your money first, and that's my advice for someone that's streaming. And then if it's streaming going crazy, I will get into syncs. Not enough good artists are, you know, really pursuing syncs, I think.
Mm. But where and how do you pursue syncs?
Well, we got a crazy internet right now, but they got websites like taxi.com. You can start building relationships with music supervisors. I think Smash House is another website that where you can find a network and get on your sync game. But the key is a lot of these people just they'll say, "Hey, we want it to sound like the 1960s Western movie," and people just send out a beat pack. They don't even read and fill these things out to the T. And then a lot of people aren't really like trying to do their best. They don't look at sync as a real thing, but it's a lot of good money in syncing. So, you know, do your research, aggressively approach these opportunities, and it's a lot easier to land when you think. I think I just had a friend that's a producer over here, and he made like 30 racks off a Wingstop commercial. So when you're an independent artist, this stuff could stack up, you know. So and that's what I think. I think too many people don't focus on building all the money they can collect and leveraging their relationship with their banks before they sign deals. And
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's what
Yeah.
I advise from the party. Yeah.
That's good stuff right there. Now, can you tell me the difference between performance royalties and mechanical royalties, and who is it that pays them?
Performance royalties. Okay, so your performance royalties get paid out through your performance rights organization. Okay, performance think performance rights organization. Your
Okay.
PRO, so that's PRO. That's ASCAP, BMI, CSAC, another one, GR or something. But you sign up with these, and on the there's a writer and then a publisher. You sign up as a writer, okay? And then what a lot of other people don't know is you're also supposed to register your shows with your PRO because every year these venues that play music and host performers pay licensing fees to these PROs that they're then supposed to redistribute to their members. But you have to, you know, say which place you were at when you did the show. So register your shows as an independent artist too. Um, and then for mechanical, uh, think MLC. They stand for Mechanical Licensing Collective, right? So um, think about it. You get paid for actually your voice, and then you get paid for actually the words that you wrote, in a sense. So
Okay.
that's mechanical, right? And performance is actually performing, or your song performing on the radio, right? Your song performing on Apple Music, right? But you still have to get paid for writing it, right? So that's the difference between mechanical and performance royalties.
Okay. Now, I'm sorry if these questions sound like
It's
silly
fun.
questions.
I love this. I love this. Let's do it.
Okay. So, okay, if you're working with a producer or like a big artist, what should be agreed upon before the track drops? Like between
The
both
splits ASAP.
parties. Okay.
You should agree on the splits. That's what gets a lot of these producers. A lot of times a producer gets this loop maker, and I feel for these producers too because you collab with guys, and sometimes you have someone that just added a symbol, or you got someone that you got this loop from, but this person you got this loop from didn't tell you he made it with four other people, right? And now the song is coming out, and everybody knows it's got Offset and Travis Scott on it, and now everybody wants equal pay and equal share. But is that fair for the producer who already had the relationship with the artist, who was in all those studio sessions, who had to pay this engineer to play the beat in the session, or had another relationship to finesse this placement, got writers to write on it, whatever this producer had to do, and now he has to take out and split it equally between? No. That's why if you're a producer, the first things first is that music business. Now, what happens is um, people, I don't like this either. People don't like to talk about that kind of stuff, right? You don't want to bring up splits too early, or sometimes if you're collabing with this producer and he got a name, he gonna be like, "Oh, what you want to know splits for? I don't even want to do that," and it just makes it kind of confusing. But the art is finding out whichever way that is, but handle your business. Handle your business, man.
I
Like
do
it don't
feel
make
like, sometimes people just want you to be happy to be there, so you don't want to overstep with questions.
well, to be honest, I firmly believe in cash or credit. That's something I preach. So if you're not getting cash, at least get a credit. And if you ain't got no credits, don't mess up your first big credit going too hard about a split. You get what I'm saying? Make sure you build yourself up, get in the room, but know the game. So many people don't know nothing, and they just let it happen. And then the song goes out, and now they dropping YouTube videos talking about some, or on IG talking bad about an artist, right? Because you didn't sign up for the things you could sign up for, and etc. So you know,
Makes sense. I just want to take it to the chat real quick before I continue. Universal King says, "Wow, great information as a songwriter to hear." Um, the Hood Saver says, "Facts. I have an entire spreadsheet of every ISRC code plus UPC my
I will.
company has."
I want to add on that. Most distribution companies, when you distribute a song, they create your ISRC code for you. So, as a blind person, you never know what your code is, but you need to know what your code is. You need to let your publishers know what your code is. You need to stay on top of your stuff because so much people depend on the fact that you don't check. It's 80% of people that are independent, right? The music industry is about 30 billion, and we're saying about 80% of it doesn't get collected correctly, right? So we're missing almost damn near another 20 billion on top, right? So stay on your P's and Q's. Make sure you are being, forward with that. But that was impressive. I normally don't see people say that. Shout out to the Hood Savers.
Yes, yes, yes. 80 billion is crazy. Okay. Okay. Sorry. My next question is, can you explain? Well, no, you explained that. All right. What tools or platforms can artists use to register their songs and collect royalties without having a big team involved?
Easytract. But if you want to dive in before I end, because we're still launching this MVP, wish me luck. I got a founders contest on the 14th. I'm gonna win like 30 bands if I win, so we're gonna go crazy. But um, there's this platform called Songview that I love, right? Because if you Songview pretty much got permission, and the DOJ is all behind this. They got all for information. 38 million um, songs are currently in Songview. Currently, that way, when you're registering your songs, the problem is you're a songwriter. You register a song, and you say I own 50%, and it all of this slows it up. This is why I'm creating Easytract too, because if everybody is saying they collecting 50% of the song, mind you, nobody gets paid if they don't agree, right? And they only have 3 years, but a lot of people don't know that. And you got to think lawyers who are representing people aren't getting paid none of this percentage, so they're just going with the flow, right? But I'm saying all that to say that you don't have a lot of time to figure out your splits between people. So you should use something like Songview before you register your splits. And so you can see like, oh, this person from ASCAP registered this song already and says they own this percent, or this person from BMI registered this song already and they say they own this much percent. That way, before you register your percent, you can go ahead and already know what's going on with the record, hopefully. So that's why I like Songview. It's definitely a tool that you should use with signing up. There is a lot of different music organizations that are behind artists. Let me pull up a few that will help you.
Okay. And while you do that for that contest you're doing, do you need people like to vote, or is that just? Oh wait, I can't hear you. Is it me? Oh no, I
Hello?
see you.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you now.
Yeah. Nah, it's people don't have to vote. I just have to kill my pitch. I got a couple judges, so I gotta just kill my pitch in front of them. But regardless, Easytract is getting made, so we're gonna be good.
Okay. Did you want to list the other publishers, or should I go to the next question? I mean,
I'm gonna look up a couple organizations, like MLC is always good. Like just going to their website, staying tuned. They got a lot of information. And then even another thing I would suggest is just tapping into whatever PRO organization you are signed up. They give you weekly or monthly newsletters. Just stay tapped in. And I got a couple organizations that I've been looking at what they've been doing for music totally. I think the Music Coalition is a good one. American Independent Music Foundation, I think is another one. But yeah, they got a couple of them out here that I've been rocking with. So let's go to the next question.
Okay, I'm gonna take you to the chat. I think this is a good one. Reg Nesm Music says, "Could you talk a little bit about MLC versus Sound Exchange?"
Mm, okay, that's a good one. That's a good one. Well, just think of it like this: MLC is pretty much a way to collect your publishing, right? Um, Sound Exchange, um, pretty much is like which how you collect the money when people do licensing, right?
Mm.
So it's two separate things, two separate entities. When I say Sound Exchange, think like movies, like whenever it's playing like that, that's what you think when you think about Sound Exchange. So yes, you need Sound Exchange, and you need the MLC. Now, what happened is you used to have Sound Exchange and Harry Fox Agency, but when the MLC came on board, they started collecting pretty much a lot of what Harry Fox Agency was collecting. Um, but yeah, that's pretty much the breakdown between the MLC and Sound Exchange.
Okay. Now, what is the role of a publishing administrator, and when should an indie artist consider working with one?
Okay, so like I said, the publishing administrator is like SongTrust. That's what
Okay.
SongTrust is. SongTrust is a publishing administrator. That means the benefit of working with the publishing or administrator is that they go get the bread for you. Like if you didn't have the MLC to self administer your publishing, it'd be hard because the reason why they're able to collect is that they have these relationships with the distribution companies. They have the relationships uh, internationally, so they can go and talk to these people to collect your bread. You know, if you try to do it on your own, they're not answering the phone or answering your email unless you could, right? But that's the benefit of having a publishing administrator, is just having someone that can handle the business on your own. Now, yeah, I think that was the answer to the question.
Yes. Loverboy says, "Does Easytract have a website?"
It will be www.easytrack.io, but for now, just go to the Instagram at Easytrack. And like I said, I have a competition on October 14th, so just keep your eyes out. We're gonna take the world by storm, so just keep your eyes out. It's gonna start popping up.
All right. Now, what are some red flags indie artists should look out for when offered publishing or licensing opportunities?
100%.
For sure.
um, uh, Pretty much. I guess the best advice or what red flags for publishing and licensing opportunities. I just would be cautious about any pub deals if you don't really know what you got out there, or if you don't already, have a kind of good sense of what you're doing. I think it gets dangerous is that a lot of people do these pub deals without even trying to collect it on their own first. And a lot of these recoupment, a lot of ways that people think they can recoup, they can't recoup. It's a lot of different tricky things in there to make sure that these people profit. They still got to make some bread. But when you're dealing with different publishing deals, I just would keep my eyes out for that. And the same with syncs. Like just keep your eyes. I think the same with sync as well. Just keep your eyes at anyone just pretty much treating you like a work for hire or one time payment, or it's just, if you don't. I just would suggest, if you are not comfortable and don't feel like you understand what you're signing, every little detail, I wouldn't sign it. Period.
Okay. Um, what is something that every artist watching right now should do tonight to start owning and protecting their music?
Um, I think they should follow me. They should follow Easy Track. I think the next step would be finding out. like your whole thing. I call it the Easytract process. Like, where's your PRO? Are you with Sound Exchange? What is Harry Fox Agency? What's the difference between Sound Exchange and Harry Fox Agency? That's some homework tonight. I mean, Harry Fox Agency and MLC. What do they collect different? Research your different laws. There's a lot of laws that are even being passed now that we need support for. So do your research, be an active musician in the community, but like kind of just don't be a person that just signs and feels like, oh, I just want to be a creative. No, you're a professional. Treat this like you're in a league, like the NFL. They have a pretty much a responsibility to themselves to stay healthy. You got a responsibility to yourself to make sure that you're getting paid the most off your music so you can keep providing the world with the best quality music. So that's what I would say. Stay on your P's and Q's. Don't be afraid to go browsing on that PR site. All of these are companies that serve you. So if you're with them, they can answer questions for you. So
Okay, before we wrap, I'm gonna go back to the chat because there's a few more questions. Vanille says, "What do you do if you have a pro and registered on MLC but don't have a publisher?"
I don't know. That's kind of weird. The way you do it is you have a PRO, right? And you sign up with them. And if you want to self administer your publishing, you sign up as a publisher as well on BMI and ASCAP. And then you signed up to MLC, let them know your publisher information, and that'll be fine. That's the key. You're registered on MLC. Oh, I get it now. But you don't have a publisher. All right, that means you have to register as a publisher yourself on BMI or ASCAP or CSAC or whatever, and then let them know you're self-administering your publishing. That's how you do it.
All right, and then Vanille says, "Thank you for clarifying." Also, Reg, who answered his question earlier, said, "Thank you, Jay." And then, okay, my last question is just any final advice for artists?
Um, if you really love it, you should practice delayed gratification. Stay into it. Really find your passion, and compounding. It's gonna compound. So stay at it and really focus on learning the game first, and it'll put you in a better aspect to do music business.
Last comment is,
Smash House, Smash Haus. That's how you spell it, Haus.
okay, cool.
And
Uh,
Taxi. Yeah, that's another one, Taxi.com. But Google some music supervisors. Google them. Send them an email. Be like, hey, we worked on the last project together. What you doing this week? What else you got? She might not even remember. Might give you some new plays.
that's true. That's true. Well, thank you. This was a very, very insightful conversation. Um, hopefully, we get you to work with Two Losses some more because that would
I,
be
I
very
think I hope that's in the works too. I hope so.
okay. Cool. Yeah, we're gonna speak that up. Be on the lookout for that. But Jay Rich, thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Yes, and thank you guys for joining another episode of Office Hours. We'll be back next month, the first of the month, with another episode.